All right, here I am with Mike Rubino, his lovely bride, my classmate Laura, filming this video. We're at Mary Queen of Saints, formerly St. John the Baptist. It's the big winter carnival, something that when I was an usher with his brother back in the day, we loved to be a part of, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But I don't think I know a better person when it comes to spirituality and the Catholic faith than this man. His brother for many years stood shoulder to shoulder with me as an usher, and his lovely wife, his bride. They're all in, and whenever I need something to lift my spirits up, I think of my neighbors, so I thought I would come here to begin my very busy day. A lot of memories here, huh?
A lot of memories, Rob. I mean, I was baptized in this parish 65 years ago, and I went to school here. My brothers went to school here, my sister, and our kids. And now, unfortunately, our grandkids don't get to go to school here, but they are parishioners here. So we still get to go to Mass every weekend with them here. So we're very blessed. The St. John's site, it's called Mary Queen of Saints Parish, but each of the four churches still are called the churches. So St. John's Church, it is St. Francis Cabrini Church, St. Titus Church, Our Lady of Fatima Church, but we're all under the Mary Queen of Saints Parish.
What would you be and have if you didn't have this faith?
Oh, it's the only reason we live. I mean, the Lord came to earth so that we can go back with him to heaven. And so the only reason you get up in the morning, and for those who don't think there's anything hereafter, then why are you here?
Listen, I got to talk about Father DiCarlo very quickly. There's a lot of people we could discuss, but Father DiCarlo was such a dear soul and did so much for me in my life, our conversations and what he did for the parishioners here. And there are a lot of people, even my broadcast partner on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show, Greg Diolis, when I mention his name, he just speaks so fondly of him. He touched the lives of so many people. What did he mean to this community?
Well, he was here for 18 years, and he was really the consummate priest. He was selfless. He didn't care about anything for himself or the comfort that he had in the rectory. He didn't want any money put into the rectory where he lived. He just wanted to do whatever he could for the parish. And he was, the priest, and when you look at the movies with Bing Crosby and Going My Way and the Bells of St. Mary's, he was that type of priest. That he was really putting God first. And I'll never forget, really, one of the reasons that a lot of this is still here is he came to parish council, and you probably remember Mr. Tom Sentai. Tom Sentai and I, when Father DiCarlo came to us and said, and when the school was here, he says, we needed a home run for this school. And it was at that time that we devised a $100,000 raffle ticket that for over 10 years raised $500,000 for the school during the raffle ticket. And that goes back to this event, which originally was created to go to the school, to supplement the income for the school. And Laura and I have been involved in this event for over 40 years, and we're still glad to be part of it.
It's a spectacular event. Let's talk a little bit about it. Great food, lots of games of chance, lots, as you can see, wonderful prizes to take home. It just seems as though it gets bigger and better, and it's also that oasis in the middle of winter that's something to look forward to and get out of the cold and kind of get together and break bread with your friends.
Exactly. We always stationed it around that time, so it was right when people were tired of being locked up for winter, and right between, we always make sure it's never on a Super Bowl or a playoff Sunday, and it so happens that this weekend is right before the Super Bowl, and it's right before Lent, so we don't do it during Lent as well. So it always works out well for that, and it's a 3-day event. Begins this evening, Friday night, with set up what's called a paddle party, and I'm still learning what that is. But basically, what that is you'll have 17 to 20 vendors here, and they will be offering their wares. And what people do is they buy chips and they bid on baskets from these vendors, and they will have a chance to win over 40 different baskets tonight from these personal home vendors.
Honestly, I always wanted to be you.
No,
wait. Him and his wife, their family, grandchildren, they've just done it right. His brother, such a dear soul. And it always came back to one thing. The more time that you spend at a place like this, it just makes you a better person overall. And here's a real treat. Look, some of the best years of my life were spent as an usher here, going to Mass on a Saturday night. And I understand the only thing that's constant is change. And I know our bishop has been a very tall task, and it seems to be working out wonderful, and that's good with the consolidations of these parishes. But I haven't had a chance to have Saturday night Mass here. But he told me moments ago, and I have to be here, you've got a special Mass here tomorrow night at 5:30.
Correct. The carnival goes from 1 until 5, so all the people are going to be down here celebrating, eating, and socializing, and of course the workers will be working. and most of us workers got to be back here early on Sunday morning. So we figured that and asked Father Queee, our pastor, if he would be able to have a mass at 5:30 as soon as the carnival's over, and that way people who are here participating can go to mass, and people who are working can go to mass, so that tomorrow we can be right back at it.
You know, we do a show every other Sunday on KDK of Father Tom Burke, who's a dear friend, part of my God Squad. So many of these great priests and nuns in the diocese, led by our bishop. It's about Catholic Education Plus. And I was just talking about my daughter and my son, Eva and Robbie, what it did for them. When I look back, their time here, the times that I had here, and how they ended up graduating from a Catholic high school. Sadly, no longer there, but great memories at Quigley. I don't think you can speak enough good things, because there's so many when it comes to Catholic education.
You can't, and it's proven. I mean, it's proven with the numbers. Everything. Give me proof what Catholic education is better. But when you look at standardized tests, you look at people who've gone to college, you look at the careers that they have and the types of lives they live. It's proven that those who have the foundation of a Catholic faith, and along with a good education, seem to do much better in life and to seem to be much happier.
How about some of your memories here at this school?
It's so funny when you think about going to here and Quigley and then St. Vincent College and all the other things that I've done after my college. It seems like all my good memories come back to being at St. John's. And the stories, you have the stories about the sisters that were here, the Sisters of Divine Providence. So all those are great, but you still have great school friends. I mean, some of my closest friends are still the ones that I had here. I grew up a block and a half from here, and being able to walk home for lunch and then walk back in the middle of a school day was phenomenal.
Let me share a quick story about Father DiCarlo. Father DiCarlo was a unique individual, and every once in a while he would let me have the keys to the kingdom and go in the rectory and sit with him after Saturday Mass. And it was about, giving me a helping hand if I needed, but it was more just about chit-chat and conversation. And I found out that he was a big game hunter. Yes. He loved to do that, which really, when you looked at him, he has such a laid-back demeanor, you would have never thought that. And I was just captivated by this guy. But we would talk about the struggles and how tough it was, making all the money stretch and what you had to do. These priests have to be little CEOs. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. And we were talking about his beloved love of Catholic education and St. John's and what it meant. And I said, boy, times are changing. And then he kind of gave me a ballpark figure what it cost monthly. And I'm like, for one little school? And he said one of the things that we're missing, he walked over to a window and he pointed out the window. And I didn't know what he was pointing at. And he said, come here. And it was the old convent before they tore it down. What the nuns did for Catholic education, that labor of love, that's something you can never replace.
Yeah, and that was kind of the turning point of seeing a lot of the Catholic schools close, because the sisters lived right next door to the school. They really were giving no salary other than to giving their room and board, and they didn't want a salary. They were here to serve. And then once the sisters started to dwindle down, and we had to bring in lay professionals, which were fine, but they had to get paid. I mean, when I went to school here, we had a $50 fee, and that was it for the year. No tuition whatsoever when I went to school here.
Wow.
And it was never like that. And then you got to a point where, you had to have tuition, and it just cost a little more than a lot of people can pay. And a lot of people don't realize that the United States is one of the few countries in the world that does not fund all education. All the other countries in the world fund all education for religion, for whatever, and yet here religious schools cannot get any educational funding.
Food, that's what these carnivals always make me think of. So what's on the menu? What do you got?
Oh, wow. Well, tonight at the paddle party will be a limited menu with pulled pork sandwiches and the traditional stuff like that. But tomorrow begins the great food. And everybody knows in Monaca, Theo Pulse and the Pulse family, how they cook and how they bake.
Yep.
And so they've been here all week, the daughters and the granddaughters of Theo. We have 450 stuffed cabbage ready to go. And I can guarantee you, Rob, that by 5 o'clock tomorrow, there won't be any gone. There won't be any available. So if you want stuffed cabbage freshly made, you want to be here tomorrow between 1 and 5. And then we have Cecina sausage. Cecina's is also now part of the Mary Queen of Saints Parish,
right.
John Costanza, and so we have his sausage. we have pierogies, we have alushka, we have the homemade meatballs that are made with the Sons of Italy recipe. So everything's going to be ready with food tomorrow. And then, of course, we sort of call Saturday's Kids Day. The gymnasium will be filled with a bounce house and all kinds of children's games.
Wow.
Communicycle will be here tomorrow, showing kids how to fix bikes and taking sign-ups for free bicycles for the summer. So kids can come here tomorrow and sign up to get a free bike for themselves. And so there's a magic show at 2 o'clock. There'll be balloon sculptors, face painting, all that kind of stuff all day tomorrow. And then behind us, of course, we have 60 raffle baskets. We have a grand raffle that you can buy a chance to win $1,500, $1,000, and $500 at the end of the weekend. We're going to be pulling that. We have sign-up squares like at the old Super Bowl. We sign up for a square while we give out $500 worth of gift cards. So somebody from one of those 100 squares will win $500 worth of gift cards. And so we just have everything you need. And then, of course, Sunday is the famous spaghetti dinner, where we'll do 500 to 700 spaghetti dinners on Sunday. So we are blessed, though, because now we are one big parish. Last year, this event had 110 volunteers from all 4 of our churches that make up our one parish. So it's a good thing to bring people together, for us to get to know each other, the folks that live in Hopewell and Center and Aliquippa, all coming together for one cause. And we are, financially stable here at our parish, so that's one good thing. So we don't have to worry about our parish going anywhere as long as we can keep our level of priests here. And we are blessed, and I don't know if you know this, we are the only parish in the Diocese of Pittsburgh that is being run by the Benedictine monks from St. Vincent. All 3 of our priests are Benedictine monks, and that adds a little special sauce to what we have, because they, not only being well educated, but the life of St. Benedict is welcoming and being non-materialistic, and so our priests are here to serve. One thing they instituted this year, you remember in the old days, you probably remember this, the blessing of the houses and the 3 kings. And in the old days, you'd be able to get a priest to come in your house and bless your house. They reinstituted it this year, and the first 100 families that were lucky enough got to have the priest come to their house and bless their house.
That was a big deal back then.
It was a big deal. It was
little
a big
food, little blessing.
Yep.
It was a good thing.
But for those who couldn't have the priest come, they gave each of us our own little kit with incenses and chalk and prayers. So we were able to light the incense in their house and go around the house with the holy water and the candles and the incense and write the initials above the door frame on our own.
Some of the great athletes that came out of St. John's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about the football teams, when they had the football teams, the basketball teams. My daughter played basketball here. My son played basketball here. One of the best little gymnasiums anywhere. I mean, there's just so many incredible things. But you did mention the Sons of Italy, which sadly, I just haven't been there in years, and I miss it. We had such a good time. And I remember one time having my son Robbie here, and they were actually rolling those meatballs, Mr. Poopy and company. But you put something up that I shared today on your Facebook page. They're bringing back the fish fry.
They are. I saw that. It's only going to be just sandwiches and fries to go,
That's okay.
but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, man.
And that's good. And they do a nice job, and that'll help them.
Before I let you go, one thing I've always wanted to ask you, and you know me, it's something that's in my mind and thought process, I'm going to ask it, no filter. Why did you stay here when you could have done anything at any corporate level? Truly one of the most gifted salespeople. You had a wife who did incredible stuff as well. You supported each other. You had a solid foundation. But you just stayed in this little community like me, which I love, but you really had the chance to take the giant leap. Why did you never leave here?
I guess it's all about family. It really is. And you never can take the boy out of Monaca.
Never.
It's something, and when Laura and I got married, I was fortunate enough to take her out of New Brighton, where you and her grew up. But she now, after 42 years of marriage, she's become a Monaca person too. But being able to this is actually part of my life. It defines me. It defines Laura and I, my Catholicism, my
Are
parish.
you a deacon now?
Now, I've been asked to be a deacon for many, many years. I'm beyond the age that you could be.
Right.
But I said I do everything else. I've been elector. I've been elector since I've been 11 years old. So for
11.
Yes. So for 54 years I've been elector. Eucharistic minister, holy name president, those council president, all those different things. So really, the only thing I wasn't able to do that a deacon could do is read the gospel. But other than that, we try to do what we can do.
So economic development, you've always got your foot taking that next step forward. I think there's a lot of good things happening in Monaca.
Monaca's coming on. It's a slow process, with the streetscape coming. That's going to refresh the main street, and we got some nice restaurants here now on the main street of Monaca with Comfortably Yum and the brewery and things of that nature. I think that's going to be good. They're going to do the roundabout at the end of town where Yolanda's is. Supposedly they're going to be building a new municipal building right there across from where the bowling alley used to be in the fireman's parking lot. That's going to be a brand new municipal building with a community room, and the fire departments are going to merge and be all one all along Pacific Avenue there. But yet there's an opening, as you know, in that part of town where you just look back between where Whiskey Rhythm used to be and you look back, that's where you're going to see the municipal building. And then with the developer who's bought half of Monaca, and you know who that is, and he's fixing building after building after building. And then we're hopefully going to see some development. I'm trying to get involved in a potential project to redevelopment the recreation down there on Washington Avenue.
Nice.
And redo that whole basketball, tennis court, pickleball court, and swimming pool area into something that the community will be proud of.
So last thing, and maybe you can't tell me, but curiosity, what's going up after they demolished the building that at one time was a library on Pennsylvania Avenue across from the Legion?
And I just started to be on the Monaca Library Board as of last month, so now I'm on the library board
Nice.
to try to keep the library alive. That is going to be a 3-story apartment building. There will be 36 apartments in there. It will be mixed income. It's not Section 8, so there will be so many apartments that will be 1 and 2 bedroom.
Nice.
Certain amount will be at market value. So many will have to be at 75% value of whatever the standard rent is in Beaver County, and so many at 50%. That way the gentleman was able to get some tax credits. So eventually, hopefully within the next year, we'll have another 40, 50, 60 people living on the main street of Monaca and participating in this.
You're still ecstatic as I am about the school merger?
Yes, I am. I think, it was, as always, it seems like the parents were in it for the kids in athletics and things of that nature. The kids took it to anything. And
Another day of business.
And it's going good. It's going good. Again, we're still, hoping that the 3 grade schools in Beaver County, Catholic grade schools, will stay there, more viable. They have now been merged, if you want to talk it. They just announced that these 3 schools will be part of a regional organization, a regional nonprofit that includes 8 different Catholic schools in this area. So it'd be the 3 in Beaver County, and I think right there in the Moon area. So there's 8 schools that will be under one governance. So it's no longer a parish school. So we, Our Lady of Fatima and Saints Peter and Paul will not answer to the pastor anymore. There's a hierarchy. They're separate 501c3s, and all the monies from these parishes all across the diocese, a certain percentage of the collection will go to fund those schools.
I have to ask this because we love Monaca. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, and I mean that. This beautiful school that is now empty, and I understand the only thing that's constant is change, but there's got to be something that could go in there. I mean, it's pristine. Look, I was there every day for 8 years with my son Robbie, 7 with my daughter Eva. I love that building. I mean, is there possibility of anything?
Well, it's still used. It's still used, obviously, for Sunday school.
Right.
It's still used for liturgical classes and things of that nature, for the RCIA program, where people that are studying to come to become Catholics. This year we have 16 people that are going to be joining our parish at Easter time, which is a nice number. So it's still being used. There's probably space that can be rented.
Beautiful.
But yeah. So we have to be careful. We are not allowed to rent to anybody that's not a nonprofit. At least that's what the diocese says. They're always worried about tax exempt status and all those kinds of things. But we're fortunate enough that the parish is doing very well. Father Queee has no intentions of closing any of the churches at this point, so that's good. And the buildings are being used. I mean, the hall here is used all the time for all kinds of different things. So. Yeah, it is still sad. It still is sad, but
life goes on.
Yeah.
And Bishop's doing a great job. Tell everybody again, Mary Queen of Saints, what's happening, and it all starts this weekend.
Yeah, tonight the paddle party begins. Doors open at 6. Paddle party begins at 7. Any of you ladies, you love this event. It's just a fun, quick event. And then tomorrow from 1 until 5, all the raffles, all the food, all the games for the kids, the magic show, 1 until 5 with Mass at 5:30. And then on Sunday, starting at noon, the spaghetti dinner begins and goes until 5 o'clock. And everything that happened on Saturday will also be happening on Sunday.
Listen, you're still a hero. I love you, and you and your wife mean so much to me. And I just have to be a little bit more like you to get to the finish line.
No, I thank you for what you do and your selflessness of your time and your energy. And it makes so much difference to the people, not just the organizations you help, but the way you make families feel when you do your condolences. I mean, Rob Main and I, were partners for 18 years at Second Child and Computer Workshop.
Right.
And
great guy.
The condolences you gave to him were just fantastic.
Talk about him real quick. And I had forgotten that connection because he acted like he knew me when I first met him, and I'm like, where did I meet this guy? And then you made the connection. You guys really were on the forefront of what you did.
Yeah, Ron was a visionary. There's no doubt he was a visionary. He had some shortcomings as far as business.
Well, that's why he had you.
Exactly, and he hired me right out of school, right out of college, and at that time he had the whole plaza up there in Patterson was all his. He had totally remodeled it, went over budget, caused some issues with that, and as things started, the economy started to go down. It was right after the Carter years and the Reagan years hadn't started bursting.
That long back.
Yeah,
That long ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so things were starting to get a little rough there. So, but we knew because of his vision with the computers and saw what computers were going to be. We were one of the first computer specialty stores east of the Mississippi.
Right.
In 1981. Okay, we started. There weren't even PCs then. There wasn't really an internet then. We were selling Atari computers and Commodore computers, and we were competing against TV parts that was selling Apple IIs and Apple computers. And I'll never forget, Rob, there was me, Rob, and Ron, and one other person. Our gross sales for the year in 1981 was $56,000. And then when I left in 1998, and Ron's son came into the organization, and I started having kids and grandkids, and I'm saying, you know what, I don't want my house up for collateral. I'm ready to, and I saw all the things that were changing in the computer industry. That's when your circuit cities were here and the silos, and the internet had started by 1998, and sales were getting kind of squirrely. So, but Ron had the vision that he wanted to become a tech support company, which was great.
Worked out.
But I was more the sales guy, and I was the business guy. But we knew Jeff was really a good businessman, so his son, who went to DeVry. And so I said, I'm ready to move on. So I took my shares, which wasn't much, but that last year, 1998, we had $2 million in sales. So, and it hired, 15 people. We had
Nice growth.
So, yeah, it was nice. But Ron, the respect I had for Ron and Linda, and now his wife Linda is also fighting cancer right now, is what they did to take care of their son, Christopher. Christopher was born with multi problems, physical, mental disabilities, no communicative skills because it was just so bad off. But he wasn't supposed to live past 5 or 6 years old. He lived till he's 32.
Amazing.
Because they took care of him, they loved him, they nurtured him. So much respect for what Ron and Linda did with him, and I'll miss Ron. We still remain friends. We didn't see each other that much in the final years, but he was always in my prayers, and he's computerizing things up in heaven right now.
Well, let me tell you, when Rubino has you in his prayers, somebody is listening. So just make sure if he says, I'll keep you in my prayers, just remind him whenever you see him, will you still keeping me in your prayers?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're on my list every day.
Please keep them coming. I can use all the help I can get. Stay with us. Busy day into the night. Your Pratt Pack. Mary Queen of Saints Carnival. Bump, bump, ba-da-da-da-dum, bump, ba-da. All weekend long. Have a great night.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.